2 is always better than 1. Dual lances are one of the most efficient ways to effectively clean a large area without having to swap nozzles constantly. Unlike a single lance, where you would have to have a high pressure stream with one nozzle and then swap out for the chem nozzle, a dual lance has both. A dual lance, they're called one of many names. It could be a dump gun, a dual lance, a VP wand, which is variable pressure. And what it is you have your high side on the right that comes through the handle. Right here's a valve system where it has a bypass to go into another pipe. That other pipe is the same size, they're 1/4 inch, and you open it up by turning the handle so it backs out a stem and allows water to flow through. What the water is flowing through to is a larger orifice. So when you talk about a dual lance, the whole concept behind it is that you have a high side and a low side. On this side, you always keep your smaller nozzle, like a 3.0, 4.0, 5.0 nozzle, but then on the left side, or the low pressure side, you have your soap nozzle. And your soap nozzle is going to be quite a bit larger. Typically, it's going to be at least a 40.0, or in this case, a 65.0. In order to properly use a dual lance, you have to have a chem injection system. Now, most pressure washers have a chem injection system, even if you have a single lance. But in this case, since we are using a dual lance where the low pressure or the soap injection nozzle is going to come out the left and the high pressure is on the right, you have to have a chem injector, which on a commercial unit is going to be a downstream chem injector, which means it comes after the pump and after the unloader. And what this does is it would be installed in your system with, there's an arrow that would always indicate which side is the inlet and outlet. So maybe a plug here and a coupler here. And then you'd have a tube or a line. You can see we've got one that we've actually used and assembled here with a filter that goes into your bucket. And what this does is that when you open up that low pressure line, it creates a new point of restriction inside here, because there is a nozzle inside here, and it creates a vacuum. And that vacuum pulls your chemical from your bucket into the line or your hose and goes all the way out to the soap nozzle on the left-hand side. That's why when you open your soap nozzle, when you turn that knob, it takes maybe 30 seconds to a minute sometimes, depending on how long your hose is, to get the chemical from the bucket all the way out to where you're at. Dual lances are typically going to have a vented grip. And in this case, it's because you would want to be using these with hot water. This is a brand new DLE 28 dual lance. It's out of MTM Hydro in Italy. And there are 2 stainless pipes on this version. In this case, it is going to be a single turn valve, which means it's 1 revolution to open and close, which is not common. And then you have the boot out at the end. And at the end of the boot, on this version, we have a coupler and a chem nozzle. When you're looking at it, the coupler would be on the right-hand side, and the chem nozzle would be on the left. That's because your high pressure would be on the right with your 3.0, 4.0, whatever size nozzle, and your soap would be coming out of the left-hand side. To identify the right dual lance for you, navigate through the menu options to lances. Available options would include plated steel, stainless steel, side handle versions, a trigger version, with or without boot, and also with or without a QC or chem nozzle.